Hello?
There?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the people next door come in. I don't know what they can do, but it takes all the battery out of the phone, so I have to leave the phone in the little compartment and just talk to it that way. And if I put it to my ear, after so long, it'll give me such a headache that it'll feel like my head is bursting. I mean, this is the type of warfare that you don't realize goes on, and it's not nice. I don't have my driver's license. I went down to the hospital because my daughter came over. She was with the Bechtel Corporation, who got us to Steve Jobs got us to the ACS Hillingdon, which was a school where it was all NATO commanders, and it was all the bankers of the 2008 crash crisis. They were doing deals in the parking lot, Lloyd's and Barclays. That then led to the library, which happened later. But anyways, she came over. She caused a bit of ruckus to where you have to understand she's not my daughter. There's cloning going on, big-time cloning, and it breaks your heart, but you got to stay strong because how many families have gone through this? This is a 1,000-year game of a joke. Anyways, I went down, and I had them say, can we have your driver's license? I said, yeah. I said, this is my son. This is what's happened. She's playing about. And as soon as I went in there, she took off to the UK, and I haven't seen her since. Haven't heard a word from her or whatever. A bus came from Belgium, came down here to Aix-Provence, picked her up with Sweden and German girls on, all of a sudden at 5 o'clock in the morning with her, that just happened to be there, to where now I don't know where she is. I knew Cameron took a flight down to the Vatican. Well, this is all connected to the Vatican, who I am. The Vatican does not want you to know who I am. I was supposed to be that one to rule the world of 2017, what was supposed to be going on. But I'm sorry, this is one for all, not all for one. And just me having everything, it's not who I am, it's not what was going on. What has happened out of all this is it's a bloodline. And like James and Max and all them and all these kids that have been hurt, this is, like that one guy said, it was the Black Madonna that came from Sicily that was left out to America. And this line was the Priory of Sion or whatever. But this is what they do. They find this line. You put your blood into this line of Trump, Putin, China, and then you have a war. This is the protected line. This is why 9/11, when they
Okay, what I'm going to do is, because we've got the stream, we're going to go live straight up with this now.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
And we've been recording a couple of minutes of you, Rachel.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And, well, we'll
so much, Max. It's just so crazy.
We'll go straight on air. And we're talking with Rachel Linney from France. Okay. And would you believe it, the last time a few people sort of mentioned that because you were talking a lot very fast and all that, I
was very nervous.
They felt
I've been through so much to where it's so much information. They don't want you to know who I am and what it's all about. And this is the protected line, the bloodline, what stopped World War II with my uncles with Eisenhower to get all the Nazis back to my hometown of Pennsylvania. I had no idea. This is the oldest mother-to-daughter line, which is now 200,000 years, a new species of humans, which is why singular is one man, one woman, with all your sexual organs in one body. Too many people in the world. This is like the people who are here in our world, of what they are, of what's going on, to where we are food, we have giants, whatever. You know what? All I know is what happened to me. I had no idea. I was just a mom in America, came to England, 23 years, had 4 kids, worked my butt off, did everything, lose everything, to realize I'm not supposed to say anything. Billions and trillions this is for the top people, the royal. Yes, Prince George is my IVF. You know what? That's little compared to what's going on. You know, what has happened is it doesn't matter the oath of the Jesuits to rape, impregnate, do all this stuff to somebody. Muhammad Atta's alive. He's in California. I mean, I live with chairman of the Republican Party in Texas when I was going to university where I met my husband. But my husband is part of Leggett Freightways and the Irish line of London versus Birmingham. My sister married a Birmingham guy that was also American, but it's with Murdoch and Klaus Barbie, because that was Operation Paperclip that came over to America. So you have to understand, it's sister versus sister, but it's also like Anne versus Charles, William versus Harry. They're all set up too. Everybody, if you take these lines, it's all set up. But what it's about is that you, it's like my line has something to do with Dalai Lama having Mary Magdalene's skin for 2,000 years, and with Gorbachev, they got houses over in California. I left a message on your machine. I said, call California Bicycle. Steve Millard, he lost his son in Iraq War. These guys were protecting me. They had no idea what was going on. But what's happened is, so I got over to England. My son gave up Olympics for England for hockey for USA. I went home, and my husband stayed here. My husband's father was with Union Trucking, was with trucking like Birmingham versus London of who to have this line. It's all a game. And I had no idea. I was treated horrible by the family. I mean, I'm in France right now, literally hostage. I can't leave this place. It really is. I'm telling you, it is, this is a bloodline. You stick your DNA in this bloodline, whether it's test tubes or whatever, and then it's super soldiers and war. It's a protected line. It's like you go here, you go there, you don't die. This is all the serial killings of what they've all been doing because they're trying to take out the line to who's the winner at the top. Well, I could have been the winner at the top. I was the winner at the top. But I gave everything and all the money and everything to everybody, Sweden family, Norway family, everything. They all have this bloodline. So now they want to kill everybody and to see if their line will take the lead. This is another 1,000-year game, but it's not for men and women. It's for singular, one man, one body to win. So now it goes back 200,000 years to where we have, no man, no more women, to singular, a new species. We are at new species. This is Hitler. They found a new species line. This isn't just 1,000 Mona Lisa kill, which is killing a black woman, the Black Madonna. They can't kill her, and she's a pretty woman like Marilyn Monroe or whatever, and she has a little bit of black in her. But it's a protected line, but it comes back bad karma. If you do bad to this, then it comes back bad to you. This is why they're setting the Holocaust up again with Hispanic, Black, and Asia. They're making them all on TV. You go, marry these people, whatever. It's
now,
like
exactly what do you mean by that?
Not everybody.
Rachel, what do you mean by that exactly?
The Holocaust? From the Jewish side of what we've had with the Poland, how it started, since I wasn't born then, but I was born in 61. But what it was is, it was a game. Every 1,000 years. So the 1,000 years would have been year 2000. So basically, the bloodline for the Romanov was not pure. They were bleeders. So he was trying to fix the line with Rasputin to get his line up to a high DNA of energy line to do the fighting, I guess, of what was going on. And that's when the Bolsheviks took charge, and that came out of East End, actually, then to go over to kill out the Romanov line. That was our friends in Switzerland, Visson, V-I-S-S-O-N. They helped start the OSS, CIA, the underground. There was Bush family and them lot up there in Switzerland with Kissinger, who had Matty McCann to swap with Putin to get Trump in power, a blue blood. Anyways, so what they did is they killed out the family, they kept the two kids, they made babies, they made twins in Poland. And that was the Rothschilds. So what they did is they got the girl, which is the Abel, the Cain is the boy, the Cain is Pope John Paul. That's who tried to kill me in 1979 for the Mona Lisa, with my uncle, my own family. But they got her to America, one of the Romanov kids, the twins, and what it's about is she was mixed in with all the Nazis that came over Operation Paperclip, the oldest mother-to-daughter line, the Black Madonna, and the Greek line, which Prince Philip wanted. And that goes back to Shakespeare, which is the name of ours, spelt differently. And that came from Sicily, but it's Francis Bacon's from the Rosiskin line that came to Ephrata, Pennsylvania. So that was all the lines mixed together. And then Operation Paperclip, so then you had the Nazi German versus the German USA soldier, or Hitler's nephew who was with USA Navy. And that has something to do with me. That was my mother's older sister then that was impregnated, as I see it, to my mother. That's why it's my sister versus me, and I didn't know that. She knew about all this. If this would have been up to her, we would have been dead a long time ago. I had no idea. I was mixed with the Mary Magdalene DNA with Dalai Lama, and if you look at my baby pictures, there's some that actually look more like him.
Can we see any of those on Facebook?
Pardon? I don't know. It's my baby picture, and it goes way back. You can just see the brightness in the eyes. It's the, what are we? It's the new line of just who's protecting us. I was in between all the forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Secret Service. I had everything when I went for 2010 to go back to America with 4 kids. My son gave up with the Olympic Center down in Chula Vista in San Diego. I had no idea that everything is around this. It's like a swirling of energy, but I'm good. I met the worst of the worst people because, you know what, when the police aren't, they're saying, Rachelle, we thought you were European. Now that we do this, you guys aren't going to help me. You see the Boston bombers, nobody's doing anything. Texas says no to the FBI. My best friend in Texas is Richard Campbell. His son dies, And then even Rex Tillerson going off right now. They killed one of the biggest families' lines. Actually, the Fortson line, his sister wasn't. They told us they couldn't marry Margaret Thatcher's son. It was a really big line. They killed Ben. Ben stuck up for me. These are guys that I went to school with at university. When I was living with chairman of the Republican Party, Bellingham Helicopter, Roswell. He also did the black box. And those guys down there said no to the FBI. They were on that plane, something to do with the Malaysia plane. Now, again, with the Rothschilds. You have to understand, the Rothschilds got my grandmother over to America. Then we got the Federal Reserve. We got the Federal Reserve to bet on this, and we're traded over the stock market to where our monies and all our accounts is worth billions, some of these accounts, and this is what we're all betted. When I couldn't find my son, and after I saw the Boston bombers, I went to Wells Fargo out in La Jolla, and I said, get my kids the hell out of America. What the hell's going on? I can't find my son. This is crazy. I called Switzerland and I called England, and then it was a $220 billion tweet. The president was being taken out. It was, making money off of money. Again, it was on the Wireline Associated Press. But the thing is that I couldn't find my son, and some guy from Vermont came up to me and said, Persian, he says, did you find your son? Did you find your son? I'm like, how did you know all this? It's like, again, I had no idea what was going on. I'm just seeing something. Nobody's doing their job right. I've had so much crap all around me happening. They put 2 loans on my car. That was J.P. Morgan. That was what then they did the donor cop shooting, to where that was a guy, Marine. He was signing off the Marines, and he was shaking my hand. Because they knew they put my face on a fake Benghazi film that I never did. It's only because of what I said, because of who I am, to try to scare what the hell was going on to save 2 10-year-old girls, And that's when the health state secretary, her name was Catherine Siebelis, she goes, you're so big, all the presidents know about you, but what you said, you're so clever. You could do so much good. I'm like, what I said on the beach, I'm so clever? I'm like, my gosh, I was trying to say, you set me up, and that was Salk Institute, which is, they do all these things in San Diego with UCSD and all this crap, that they set people up and they do horrible things. The Boston bomber kids were totally set up. That young guy, he was a good kid. Their uncle was married to CIA Fuller's daughter. So it's USA CIA versus USSR CIA.
Just so you understand that the stream's dead and I'm rebooting, but you're leaping around subjects again, and that gets people confused.
Thanks for telling me.
So if you can try to sort of explain one particular thing and move on.
I know. Like that person said, you need to have an outline, and it's true. Okay. Are you booted up yet?
Yeah, but we're not live, but we are recording, so we'll just... this happened with Michael Shrimpton the other day when he tried to talk about the Russian...
Okay.
This alleged Russian poisoning, which he was saying was actually done by the German intelligence agency.
Oh, yeah. There's something with that, the Russian poisoning. See, my daughter was going over there at that time, and then all of a sudden we haven't heard anything from her. I was calling the Surrey police. She's so nice. Her name's Rachel. and, to try to find out about what's going on about Maddie McCann's investigator was just bludgeoned to death. And then it's so funny that with Max, he's like, saying about pedophile, that's with pedophile. And he was on the right track with the Tavistock, which is right about that, because when I had my twins, basically she was a twin, and it was because of Princess Diana to do another twin thing like the Romanov thing, and to get their line into the line of the protected line, but it has to be somebody with Shiite or Sunni, because that's the way the Holocaust is right now. Muslim, now it's being passed to Hispanic. And
Explain that exactly. I mean,
it goes from the Jewish line, then it was passed to the Muslim line. Now, I got the Muslim line to stop, and that's why Kushner had all the Muslims over him.
How do you mean that you got that stopped? I mean, how can you explain
gosh. Well, Palestine thought they had me October 22nd, 2016. They thought they had Rachel. Maybe they had a clone or whatever. This is, how do I know? My daughter's family, CIA director, 3 presidents, sister married 37th richest Saudi. You could say they were in Texas, too, at the time of what was going on when I lived 1983, when I got raped, impregnated, whatever was happening down there to get this line to try to win. You have to understand, you have to read the oath of Jesuits. They'll rip your guts out. They'll do anything to win. And what I was supposed to do was go to a Muslim country and then declare myself, And that's why Assange is actually at the Ecuador embassy. I actually went to see him. He wasn't even there. Hastings was there, but he wasn't even there. And what it is it's like you're supposed to go there. So I was in Egypt embassy out in L.A. They had Shiite and Sunni fighting in there. The Kuwaiti embassy in L.A., they were going to give me $500 million for my portrait, but then the plane went down, because I was saying, look, you can't let this pass to the Hispanics to get all beaten up like, we've just done to all the Muslims. I says, we have to do the right thing for our world. You have to help me with this. So they all were getting together, all the Muslims, to try to buy my portrait, to try to do the right thing. And would that have gone, look, Hillary or Trump, didn't matter which, they're, with Obama, they're all in it together. The object is to take down USA. Now it's going to be going to China. China's the new USA. So it's going to be to get the Nazis over there. Well, the Pope just put the cardinals over there. So, yes, okay, the Nazis are over there to take us all down all over again, to repeat all this, to do a new game. At the end of the day, it was to take 9/11 down. They thought they had it then. They thought they had Princess Diana. They had the DNA. They had the twins. They stole Maddie at birth. That's what my son was with the cleft palate unit at Great Ormond Street. They're making kids and the babies and all that. That's why 9/11 didn't work. It was something to do with they tried to kill my line out. My parents were supposed to go up to 9/11, but they missed the ferry. They had the Secret Service with them at the Hudson. This is, and the thing is, they even saved New York even more because there was a hurricane coming in. And with who we are and where we are, we're just energy of love and energy of just not knowing, but we're just family people. And that the hurricane didn't come in. So there's something to do with whether there's something like when I talk and I'm talking now, I can clear up the sky of they want to put clouds. I mean, that's just weird, but it's a vibration. I mean, you can't see it, but it's a vibration. This vibration is from the Jesus line, from the Mary Magdalene line. It's the energy line of what the Frankenstein of maybe what the Nazis have all put together. But we were all family. Us women, we never knew. The men in our family, I understand, knew now. That's what the Bidens in our family, the Caseys, the cousins with Oprah and all the crap going on. Yeah. I mean, when you know all that, you think, thanks a lot, cousins. I mean, you're an asshole. It's like, what do you say? But at the end of the day, you don't want to see them killed. I don't want to see
Well, we're having another go at going live with this, but do try to stick to one topic so we can people can understand.
All right, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want to know?
Well, okay.
You want to know about Kennedy? He was probably...
Why should people listen to a word you're saying? What's your basic background? And you talking about the super soldier side.
Okay. First of all, how it all started, the main, really waking up was, I was with my 12-year-old son at Avis Rent-A-Car in Philadelphia 1 week before the Boston bombing, and the Boston bomber kids were there. You know, the German kid told me to shut up to what was going on with him. There was a fat guy there that his son was killed the next week with the FBI. You know, there was things happening before where I moved to in California that just kept to be weird. Coincidence. But when you see something and then nobody's doing their job right, you call the FBI, they say, no, you don't have a complaint. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have a complaint? I saw this. No, this is wrong. I mean, you don't do this. This is right. Why did you do this to Boston, you know? And then I figured out, well, hold on. I was just in Boston last August because I was with James Rosenfield, who was head of basically all Mossad for USA, all the military and all the money people at Harvard. And I was at Fenway Park, you know, with my daughter. She got the Harvard coach in for Holland for hockey. And then at Boston College, we got the coach down at the Olympic Center. He was from New Zealand. To when my best friend from my hometown, she was on the board of directors there, and apparently she's the highest at UBS, and with her boss, CEO, that started out Liberate. So basically, it started like coincidence, and then I'm like, hold on, I'm getting scared here. Nobody's doing their job right. So then I called my best friend in Texas, Richard Campbell, because I used to go I haven't been home for 36 years or whatever at the time, and I said, Richard, what the heck's going on? You know, these people knew me, you know, from way back then, and they're like, no, Rachelle, we know you. You're a good person. They kept calling me and asking me, you know, how do I know you? Like, I know Rachelle, you know, a family, you know, met Neil with her, and that's on my Facebook, too, to where you'll see there, say, Richard, and we were working with, who was Clint Eastwood, was doing a film or something, and he then, after all this, he had Frank Sinatra's people from all the Jewish mafia from Vegas after him, and then his son died. But anyways, from that, he got Texas to say no to the FBI. They saw what was going on, and Texas was pulling away from the states. I mean, they were just like, this is you're doing this to one of our people, you know, this is wrong. You know, she's a good person, you know, and it ended up going down to the Olympic Center, to where, you know, it was just all Texas, you know, to California was being, you know, just pulled apart, you know, to where it's all our forces. You know, we have all the main bases out there. And so then they stuck everybody on my road, you know, 305 Gravilla, Tom Miller, you know, they had the Secret Service, which was the Air Force. And then across the street, they had cameras on me, and they were with the Army, you know. Aside me was the Army. And all the Navy was there at the Whale House, you know. We got $330 billion for a fake film. I'm like, Rachelle, what would you do with $330 billion? I'm like, and of course that went over to Vegas and all the mafia. What the heck was going all over the place? Again, I didn't know the high-ups. I'm just talking about to what's happening to me, to where they're showing you to try to scare you. You know, these guys with white eyes, to where your neighbors never come back from the East Coast that followed you, and they're dead somewhere, and you're thinking, okay, what the heck's going on now, you know? I'm just worried about my kids. I have a 12-year-old, and I have the kids at high school, and, you know, it was like I couldn't make phone calls to out of the country. I couldn't get things out. I had to go to the bank to call outside the country. I mean, it took almost a whole year till when I came over to Switzerland, and I was calling back to my aunt of what happened. I saw the Boston bombers from my hometown of Reading to Philadelphia, and the lady behind the counter, her name's Wanda, she goes, give me those tapes right now, because she knew something was happening. And then that went to Crosby of what was going on, and then Jay-Z and Beyonce took this tape down and opened up Cuba for Obama, and this is the new finding the protective line. They can open up the next, you know, close the Muslim game and open up the next population kill control. But the thing is they can be Pharaoh now. So who wants to be Pharaoh is China, of course, and that's why Trump's working with so much with China at the moment with my niece. It all has to do with a name, too. They knew my name was Shelley, and my name is Rachelle, but it's also to do with Shelley, too. It's a nickname. So there's a lady called Shelley Long who was with Robin Williams in Popeye or something. She did an interview with Phil, Dr. Phil. She kept saying, they kept asking me, do I know Shelley? Do I know Shelley? So there's something to do with the names. We know names. We know some things, but we don't know the whole thing. So it's almost like they put you as a football, and they're fine. So the twins were the Romanoff line to try to find. Then it was Princess Diana's tried to find. And now Trump's trying to do it again to where they're putting this into the DNA over in Vietnam with Putin and China.
Now explain all that.
It's just a game.
You're mentioning a lot of stuff which is throwing a lot of people off and jumping around. So let's try and nail things down.
It's a 1,000-year game.
Okay.
It's a 1,000-year game. You find the line, you stick your DNA in the line, and then you get to take out the other countries because you have the super soldiers. This is a protected line, and you want to see whose protected line beats the other protected line. So this is like a Hunger Game. This is like in the beginning of the Hunger Game movie. They take your DNA and they show the blood, of which blood you are. And this is the game of even what Sandy Hook is about. They do this real thing. They like to hunt. Who likes to hunt? Well, again, it's a vibration that you cannot see who's in this world. Okay, you cannot.
Okay, just to let you know, I've got your Facebook page up with your portrait, your picture. Okay.
That was when I was, a long, long time ago. I just don't have my regular face up there. I've had so many things taken away from me. I had my phones. I mean, you have no idea. I mean, I had whole cars. All our bank accounts have been wiped out. They put me in jail for a 2-week car hire because after Max, they got the gold over there in Poland.
Okay.
Obama was over there with Max. You can look at the same time. It's all registered at the same time.
Right. Why are you in France?
What was going on with the army, and Stan sold 19 babies to Dubai. Prince of Dubai gave Nazi gold or gold to Poland to say thank you. You did the World War II, whatever. Give them thanks, or it's like bad karma, good karma of what they were trying to do, because the Trump, Stan, and the Pope, they aborted a Shiite baby. I mean, this is what they were doing. So it's like you do bad karma, but you do good karma for charities or whatever like that. It's supposed to equal it out. It's like how Meghan Markle is. They've been doing serial killing in L.A., and they've been killing out a lot of black women for the Black Madonna line and whatever. So this is where I was around there. So what they did is to try to do good karma. They're going to give Meghan Markle and to go over that way. Now, is she a clone? At the end of the day, if you don't agree to do all this, they can clone you in one day, and you don't. This is the game of the checkered board of Illuminati. I mean, princes go somewhere and go in jail for a day or whatever like that. They're gone. It's a new person in that they can just, have who they want to play their game and to win a game. So we have really strange things in our world of eating people and bloodlines. Basically, James is saying about immortality. It is about immortality.
You're talking about James Casbolt.
Yeah, I looked at a little bit of one of the interviews. It is about immortality. My bloodline, kids under 25 can make old people be young again. Look at all what you're seeing. Not only people cloned too, but people can live longer, and it's cleaning out their blood. You don't need to have pharmaceutical anymore. I mean, it's like, the royals are going into the hospital for a month, or the Bush is in the hospital for they're getting bloodline. Where are they getting this blood? All the kids missing under 25 that they grow to have this bloodline. This is like we are cattle. Women don't realize they're being impregnated. If I was impregnated over in Buckhurst Hill, I had no idea. And I just totally just tore out my friend in Georgia at the moment because she's with Cleveland Corporation, who shuts down the lights in Atlanta Airport. And she was also working with FBI, DOG, or whatever. And she knew about when I was pregnant with my son to where she was mad, and I couldn't figure things out. I was like, okay, she had, some, she works with computers, but she also had some problems, and she was taking some electrical shock to her head or whatever. I'm thinking, okay, I don't need that, thank you. I've seen something, and I have stories that maybe I am adding on a bit to how I'm seeing it because nobody's doing their job right. Then why are you being hacked? Why are they taking all our money? Why are people getting killed? Why is this happening? This is Kyle from Texas. These are SEAL 6 that were playing with my kids down at the Olympic Center. You take out loose ends. And these guys knew there was no bin Laden to what was going on. Muhammad Atta is CIA, and he's in California. He's alive. Bill Bradford's alive. He's part of the Queen Victoria's illegitimate son from from Bertie's line, with Klaus Barbie, who's with, Trump. Am I making allegations here? You better believe it. They don't want you to hear this. They don't want you to put it together. If I calm down, which I need to, because, yes, it is a lot. I am a computer for what has happened because I'm trying to remember all the bits and pieces. So I am jumping, and you don't know the whole story, and I'm trying my best to try to explain it and to remember all those little bits and pieces. So
okay, in your own time.
It goes to 9/11.
Yeah,
It
okay.
goes from Princess Diana, the baby, to Maddie, born in 2000. Steal her. We have the line 2000. We can be Pharaoh. It didn't work. So now we have to figure out why it didn't work. So then what it goes down to is start taking out the lines. They killed my brother. They killed my grandmother. Not one piece of skin of her left. Thank you very much, Penn State, to what the hell's been going on with all these kids, of what they're hurting. It's like they have to do all this energy stuff with these kids to try to find out the future, to find out how to do things, Okay, we did a lot of bad to get to good because America doesn't want to lose America, so they've let these people do these horrible, disgusting things. Fair enough. Now, these beings need this DNA so they can't be seen. They need this DNA so they don't have to rape the men who want to be president, because the sperm or whatever goes to your brain and you can be like, that's why Obama's picture, he actually has sperm on his head. You got to look at that.
You keep mentioning that about Obama and his sperm in the head. What way? Is that just a photograph of what?
No. The guy is known. His person that has done this portrait has been known by putting sperm on his paintings. So his painting, if you look around to where on the internet they'll explain about it, he has his foot on a lotus, which means he has his foot on the women's genitalia of holding down the Garden of Eden, of where his wife has the Y. She's the man, he's the woman. He's also a being, too. I mean, Bush family said he can mind read, but he can't do what I can do. I can just actually yap my head off and make no sense to some people because it's such an awful story. But the thing is, it also has, he put a sperm on his head, which means to do with me. When I was in California, I wasn't with my husband for 4 years, and I had 4 kids, and he stayed here because our money was taken away. My father-in-law fired him, and my brother-in-law passed away, and there was just so many things happening. It was with Nike, it was with warehousing all over England, take down, what was it, one of our stores, our lovely stores, which we don't have in America, our 5 and 10 stores. What is it called? What's our 5 and 10 store over there? That's kind of you don't see anymore.
The 5 and 10 store is an American trade
name.
In
England. What is it? Our
Woolworths.
Yeah. They did all the Woolworths and stuff, and they're from the East End, and they are part of this line. You have to understand, my mother-in-law was part of in the Buckingham Palace working. So it was that line that she probably got from Bertie's with Jack the Ripper or whatever, because they were with the Bolsheviks, with Visson, that then went over to Switzerland and killed the Romanov line. So again, you have to have Bertie's son that was in California illegitimately, but then they had to get the line. This is a game, this is a 1,000-year game, to where the Romanov line wasn't too good. So they got the 2 kids, and there's 2 graves still open over there in Russia. And then they made twins from that. So they were trying to put the line up. But they still had to find, the Black Madonna line, which was the one that left out of Sicily. And then it was the Greek line that was left out of Sicily, too, my grandfather. And it was all Operation Paperclip that came the Nazis that kind of pushed our family all together. My one grandfather, he didn't know, and it broke his heart when his brothers came back with Eisenhower and got all the Nazis back, and it realized it was his daughters that were being experimented on, I guess you could say.
What do you mean, guess we could say? Explain now.
Well, I didn't know. My father-in-law said, I studied Hitler to study you. I'm like, you studied Hitler? I mean, you're with Dutch Bank. You're with all these banking people, Hambros and with horses and all this. You take all my money, you do horrible things to my kids. Not once have we ever had a normal Christmas to where, we paid for everything while he gives everything to everybody else. I mean, you have to put these people down, and you have to, control these people. Well, I just kind of looked the other way. I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to have my kids. I loved my husband, Did he know? I don't think so. I think he was absolutely tortured just like I was, But again, his line is, I think, different than his other brothers. And it all goes back down to then Bertie versus, lady-in-waiting type of thing. So that's like USA, which was my mother-in-law. It all comes down to the mother's line, the oldest mother to daughter line. So her line was strong. It was also her father. He was, during World War II, he was like on all these ships that were sinking, and it was only him and the captain that would ever survive, walking. I mean, he had some heck of a energy-protected line. I mean, he was, a bastard of all bastards, but bless his heart. What they did to him, he just, it tore his life. He couldn't talk about the war or anything, It was really, it made him so, just not very, very kind person. The end of the day is he had this line, and it came from the East End. Somebody was asking me about that. So, yeah, this is in the East End line. But it's also like around the Elephant Man and different, it was a species of the autistic kids. They needed this line not to be seen to get into the men's brain so we can be a hive so they can control us. We are now in the point of, we are probably the freest we've ever been free in 2,000 years, and now we're going back to the hive again so we can be controlled like the Egyptians of being slaves and be impregnated this lot, that's your lot. No matter, you don't have a say in it, or you'll be killed, and they'll drink your blood if you're under 25 and you're that. It is. It's or bet on the stock market. I mean, is this our world? Is this really what's happening? Yeah, This is what's happening. Do we want this to happen? No, we have a foundation of what we can believe in and what we know. And if things have gone belly up, well, okay, there's people in our world and species in our world, and we're supposed to be one species now. We've lost. No matter what, we've lost. What you can't see, you can't fight. And this is a vibration level that you cannot see. They don't want you to see them because they want to control everything. So in 2012, we were just about ready to see everything. And then, yes, this man, he did this to me in California, The end of the day is, I was like, this is why it's love and love. They don't love you. It's cold-blooded, but it's like he did, I was raped over there. Okay, fine. Sorry, dude, that's what you did. I'm not supposed to say that. The Vatican doesn't want me to say that. Trump doesn't want me to say it, to where, the royal family. It doesn't matter. Out of something bad comes something good. We've learned something. Did I fall in love with him the next day and the next day and the next day? I was a bucket of mess. I mean, this is like total mind control. How does it break away? How did I, like all these kids do after 30 years or whatever, they wake up. It's being a mother, It's coming back to, they're hurting my kids. I can feel them hurting my kids. I can see what they're doing. And it sort of breaks the spell, to where I can come back. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say what it is. You have to say the truth because, you want to get to 1,000-year win, and do all this for honor. That's honor. Really? You do this to the protected line of what you're supposed to say, what's going on. This is the Vatican owning everything to the royals, the Vatican owning the royals to own it. USA, for me not to say I own USA, to not to say that, the Vatican. I don't care. It is not about that. We have to get to where we're still here, all the money in the world, what does it matter if you don't have your family? And that was what they were killing out of me. That's what they killed out of Cleopatra. They knew how to do this. This is why from Max to what they called me from the East Coast to go to the West Coast, my heart, they said, we have your son. They were all in it together. They paraded my kids around with Obama in the middle of L.A. and set me up and let me see everything with this person, with Hillary. And she's like, you really want to give it to Trump? Because I said, look, I don't know what's going on, but I love my boys. My boys, it's not about men. It's not about women. I don't want to see a woman take us all down and blame us. We've already got blamed for the last 200,000 years, with the weather. We could do everything and give everything, and we wouldn't do it, a witchery or whatever. No, it's hard to get to this level as what Hillary has done. I understand that. It's impossible, to let men that obey Masonic oath taken and all that. This is something that we all have to say, look, enough. We have to say, we got here, you did this, you're wrong, we got to have some comeuppance about it. You have to be put in line, because it's so out of order and perverted now, because this is what happens with this stuff in the head, and it gets perverted. It goes all out and sexual and cloning. The clones that they do are sexual. And it's not your kids. It's not your beloved ones. These are imposters, but you don't be mean to these people to kill them out unless they're being controlled and mind-hived to do harm to you. And that's what my Annabelle was doing. She was like the Annabelle creation of what she was doing when she was here. And all of a sudden, I went to the hospital, and she took off right away to within 12:30 at night to 5 o'clock in the next morning. She was getting calls from the Bechtel Corporation who, all got the Iraq War. What was going on with the Bush to my husband's family? Where are they? Are they still, they're up in Switzerland. They have this place here in France, and it's all part of the Paradise Papers crap stuff. And, they stole all our money. They've done everything, my husband and I. And yet right now, do I have a penny in my pocket? You know what? It's not even about money. It's a beautiful sky out. I'm trying to keep myself as much as possible, knowing what they've done, to make sure we can keep getting this out. More people keep waking up and talking, and we can keep trying to hang on to our world, so we don't want to be hives anymore with iPhones, with computers, to where we can be, destroying our lives to be chaos, conquer, and divide. And which church do you want? And do you want Satan or do you want good, and put a chip in you? Look, I have a chip in my arm. When I go out, I have the helicopters around me. And literally they can bloody zap me, my knees. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. You can't even walk. And this is what the things are going on. They don't want me to get this out because they can also find out where I'm at.
Well, I did talk to James last Thursday.
You did?
And he's looking very well.
Good.
He looks on fine form.
Good.
They didn't even tell him I was coming, so I had to wait there for about 35 minutes. And
you have to understand, he's been in there for a long time. If he has Rh negative or high blood, they really can't close.
Well, he does have an ultra. He did have an ultra security.
An ultrasound?
No, ultra. It was an ultra high security thing. As you know, he was set up, and it did have a
definitely. I was set up.
Yeah,
I was in.
Yeah, but he was beaten
jail
up
for a
in
month.
jail.
They're saying we're doing this to you to protect you.
Yeah.
Because Los Angeles was trying to get me, and it was insane.
But he will, just to let people know,
killing the people in there too. I mean, they were actually, there was some type of waterways in the back of it that you could hear, and I just would know what's happening because I'm very sensitive.
But he will be out in a what they call an open prison in Bristol very soon for his release in July 2019.
I mean, how you can check and see if people have been cloned is do MRIs, and you'll be able to see if the mind is mush. I mean, they can't produce the mind that quickly, and they'll put a chip in it. I mean, literally, they can do this even with the animals around you. You don't realize that they're like robotic animals. They're not even real. We are so far advanced, we had no idea. Not only not to see what's in our world, but what is in our world. So you can feel people. You have to. It's like feeling in the dark is what it's the best way to explain it. People are not going to trust you. People are going to say you're horrible. People are going to say so many horrible things. Look, ask questions. Be brave. I've done all this. You have no idea. Be brave. You want to come back and hurt me and do fine, whatever. I didn't do this for you. I did this to ask questions because this is wrong what has happened. It's wrong what's happening to a lot of Americans right now. There's a guy called Charles Frederick Wust, W-U-S-T, bless his heart, I don't know where he is. I even called down to Louisiana to try to find this guy because he's good. It's all about numbers. This guy's good. And Janik, Janok, Kevin Janik. It's about numbers. We do have a matrix of a numbers things going on, too, of what they do things like rituals and sacrifices. And then there's also Richie from Boston. Bless his heart. This is just the people we have to keep these people across our country to keep in contact with. I can't contact them. Everything's hacked to me. It's amazing I'm talking to you. Why? People will say, why are you talking to me? You know what? I just say, well, God must mean you're important just like me because we all are important. We all are special people. We're humans.
There's a possibility, if you want, I could get somebody, if they wanted to ask you a question on Skype, just to let the group chat know.
Go ahead, just as long as they don't say I should be insane again and mental and all that. Yeah, I know it's mental, but...
Well, I'll let people know in the chat room and we'll
it's hard. It's hard to try to, you've had so much and you've lost everything. You know what it feels like. It's just like insane what's happening. And they don't want you to say, you're not supposed to say. They don't want you to tell the truth. And they tell lies. All of them have to tell lies or they'll die. They will be killed if they tell the truth. And if you join Illuminati, Green Money Power, and all of what they do. There's another one is, what's his name? Donaldson, or what about the cloning going on?
Donald Marshall?
Oh, I love them to bits, too, yeah. It's nice to see these people try to get the information out and their lives torn apart or whatever's going on. At least it's something to where it's helping me see, like, oh, my gosh, everything, I can't explain it. And then they put the little key into it. I'm like, okay, now I understand. Why are these people doing this? It's not the same person. I can see it's not the same person, but who are they? Their bodies are different. Their faces are different. Britney Murphy was another one. She was killed out there in California. I mean, did a total difference from 2000. Her body's totally not the same. And she married a guy from Hillingdon. Well, that would have been around where we were, a Jewish guy from, American International School that Steve Jobs got us over to American International. It was 2007. They killed my brother. And that was like 3 days after Maddie McCann was lost. So it's all these little things, putting all these dates into perspective. I have to remember everything because you don't think I'm thinking, I don't want this. I mean, for last year, I just wanted to just not see them hurt my family, not for all the Air Force doing halos. They got my kid, they got this kid, they got another kid, and they're putting halos. I mean, my next door neighbor's like, why do they keep putting halos? It's just they got one of my kids. I mean, I'm protected by not feeling so much going on in my heart, and I just have to, it's insane. I mean, to break down these are my kids, that they're stealing and they're hurting and they're sacrificing or they're making clones out of and keeping them somewhere or what's going on. And yet I protect the clones that I have because they're the angel of my kids. I mean, this is insane. Why want to be here with this? But I don't want this to happen to anybody else, whether it's a man or a woman or one singular person that has, all the sexes of each of us in one. This is wrong. This is for them to go down underground to a bunker to have a Hunger Game at the top here and bet on this person, bet on that. But really, I mean, that's what Rothschilds were doing over in Austria, at their mansion over there. And that was probably one of my kids. They show me everything. They're sending things to me of my kids. Pieces, and I mean, it's just like.
Okay, we do have somebody on Skype. We're going to see if we can make this work.
Bless them.
I'm going to bring that up. Okay, Skype caller, can you hear? You've got your something else on, caller. Okay, you've got to take the speaker off, caller. Okay, we're taking it off. Okay. Okay, Rachel, can you still hear?
I can still hear you.
Yeah, okay, I've got to tell people, I'll have to drop the Skype call.
It's coming in too echoey.
Yeah, no, people have got to understand they've got to use headphones if you're going to call in. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, continue.
I'm going to get in so much trouble for doing this to where it's like, I don't care anymore. I really don't care, as long as you keep getting the message out of what's going on. It's a bloodline to immortality of what's going on, of these young kids, 25 years and under, false flags to impregnated these girls to make who has the most protected line and kill each other out game to where now it goes over to China. I mean, and this is all the Nazis who are under the Jesuits, who are under the Templars. So at the end of the day is, yeah, we have a lot wrong, but I told Silverstein, he was, was I with this person, that person? I had a Hopi American Hispanic baby, so I've won everything without even knowing because of what happened to me in Texas with the chairman of the Republican Party. Bush was there. Reagan was there. He did the Scarface time of all the Cubans to my hometown, which basically they shot him. The Pope got shot from the Turkish because they got set up to try to take me out in '79 with the Mona Lisa. So we do, and even Kennedy. Kennedy was working with Marilyn Monroe. She had this DNA to where she was on a bed, and they took her insides to where she was supposedly pregnant, working with Castro of what was going on too. But we didn't have the Asian line out yet, so. And another thing, too, if Kennedy did bad, he had to sacrifice his kid, and he wasn't going to sacrifice his kid. So what they could have done is did a clone. They've had this cloning for a long time, why the brain was taken and what's going on about that.
Explain that, please, because that's very important about in terms of how all that works.
When you make a clone, you can make them like within 1 day. Listen to what Donald Marshall is saying. They can really grow these. We've gotten so advanced, you don't realize that they don't let you know all this.
I thought they were 3D printing us.
You know what? They can take cells. There's so much on the internet to read about it. I have pretty much, if you look down at all my crap that I've put down there. I mean, what I keep writing, they mess up, and I just put it out there. I just don't even bother.
Okay, I'm going to ask the caller. Skype, have you got camera?
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you sort your audio out, you're sounding a bit distorted. I'll mix you back in. Okay.
Okay.
Rachel, can you hear the Skype?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, caller, can you give us your name?
What would you like to ask? I love questions.
Okay, Rachel. I'm very confused about your call at the moment.
Okay, I'm very sorry. Ask a question.
I'm not sure where you're coming from, really. It doesn't seem to be very coherent. You seem to be jumping from one
Are you in any type of Masonic group or anything like that? Or are you with ambulances or police? Because the end of the day is, if you're with any of these clubs or any bully clubs or anything like that, I don't mean to be mean, but, you have to protect that society. I understand all that, and it's going to be confusing. A lot of people are not going to know what the hell I'm talking about, and I'm very sorry about that. I could go back to 2010 and not go back to USA to realize what was going on. I had no idea. I was completely in the dark, I was just Olympics, UK, Olympic, USA, a mom of four, running, 60 miles on North Circular.
Okay, Rachel.
So what is your question?
Okay, Rachel. Where were you born, sorry?
I was born in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Okay. I lived in Tennessee for about 4 years. I understand the American culture. But
I thought I did too, and I was born there.
Okay. I really don't understand where you're coming from, to be honest.
We have different species in our world, okay? Whether you like it or not, you can't see them. Some people can, some people can't. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. It's like a radio station, Did I see these people? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. I have the ability to be able to see stuff that has gone and been before and in the future.
And you're well done.
But it takes a lot of concentration. But from what I'm hearing from you, seems to be...
I'm rattled, okay? You have to understand. I've been put through horrific, to try not to... They don't want me to say anything. All the mafia have come to me to where, no, I'm not supposed to say anything. And I don't care. Okay, when they hurt your family, you don't care. So yeah, I'm muffled to where I stop and start, because it's an energy inside of me that's, it's a scared energy to where it gets it out, maybe in an erratic way, and I'm very sorry for that. It's
Okay, Rachel. How do you get yourself into a state of seeing?
I don't see, sweetheart. I don't see. It is happening to me, okay? Everything that what I'm telling you, it's a process of like the CIA. It's like a puzzle. It has happened to me to where I got to this position to where you're at the top of what I am seeing. And it's wrong because for me to go all the way back down to the beginning again, that's hard because when I go back down there, I get into a state of, it comes out quite blurty because it puts me back into that train of thought, and it was quite frightening, as a mother,
Yeah.
as a person on my own.
Yeah. Yes, it can be frightening.
Yeah.
But how do you switch it on and how do you switch it off?
I get my energy. They say, "How do you get your energy?" I mean, all the, you're so strong. I'm not strong. It's just truth. Truth is a force. Truth is what gives you energy to where you give love to others, to where it's about a balance of trying to get out in a good way. Very bad things in a good way.
Okay. So how do you know whether you're tapping into a real vision of good and evil?
Well, Stan, even though what he did, he explained a lot to me. At the end of the day, if things happen to you, people start crying, and you got to forgive them too. But I'm not going to say, it didn't happen. It happened, and when they're doing horrible things to your family, it's like, okay, why didn't I do something before? I was under a bit of a spell. You don't realize what's going on. And when rape is rape, it's rape, sweetheart. And that's what this is all about. Do I want to be queen or do I want to say rape? Well, I'm sorry, I'll say rape.
Okay, Rachel, we've got a question from the live stream.
I'm not sure you're asking my question.
Sorry, if you could. Sorry, I just need to. You've got a question from the live stream.
We can say we're not allowed to say rape.
What's
we're not
your bloodline?
To say things, but we can say.
Rachel, what is your bloodline?
My bloodline. Well, that's just it. When I was young, and it also has to do around hurricane names. It's about the hurricane energy that they try to take out these hurricane women. I had my blood transfusion because I almost died September 11th, 1961. So it has to do about, again, with my cousin. She was then hurt. Her name was Carla, which was Carla the name. She had the red hair. It has something to do with Rh negative. And then it switches when they transfuse what they've done to my niece, what Trump has just done to my niece. To get a bloodline with Putin and China and try to get her out of America, which I'm trying to say, keep her in America. This is, is a protecting of us. At the end of the day, it's no matter what America has done and what's going on, we take America down, we all go down, we all have this. Once this, fire starts, it's not going to stop. And we don't want it to stop.
Okay, caller, you're not happy with that. Do you want to ask?
Sorry, did I answer your question?
Are you asking me, Mars?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but...
We're sort of winging it here, but...
Looking at the time, too, I don't mean to be horrible because I'm paying this side of it, so I'm trying to hit all the angles here, sweetheart. So it's a bloodline thing. Yes, it's an energy, but you have to understand, this has been what we had Operation Paperclip. I lived across from Klaus Barbie. He lives in La Jolla, okay? Muhammad Atta lives in California, okay? The person with Paradise Papers to Cyprus, to where Trump has gone after Maddie of what to go to Israel to say we've got fossils 200,000 years. No.
What you on?
Borderline.
Where did you get this information from?
About what? Well, go back to the Lights Out. About the it's the plane that went from Mexico and up to Atlanta, and the lights out for 10 hours. It has a lot to do with QAnon, of different things of what's happened. And then it was over in Cyprus, and my father-in-law, they went over to Cyprus for Christmas, and then all of a sudden we find, and I was supposed to go to Israel or somewhere in the Middle East where it was supposed to win. At the end of the day, I was in an Egypt embassy. I've done everything. 1,000 years ago, you have Assange in an embassy. Why don't you take him out? Because that's their land. That's their property. So no matter what, I did everything possible to win for the Savoy family to get this, a new bloodline for the new Illuminati family.
Oh, hang on a minute, Rachel. Where the hell are you going?
Pardon?
Where the hell are you going? I mean, look, okay.
This goes to Prince George's heart. He's my IVF. I don't care. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Rachel, hang on. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to challenge you, Rachel.
Please.
Earlier on in this chat, I asked you to... earlier in this interview, Rachel, I said that I have the ability, when I get in a trance, I can actually see stuff in the past and in the future. It's not everybody can do, but I challenge you.
That you're saying that. A lady said that in America. She goes, "I cannot see you. I cannot see you. You're not supposed to see me. There's something around me that's not supposed to be seen. I don't know what. I don't know who. This is what's going on around me. Who's protecting me? Who's doing all this? Is it just the game of what is seen and unseen? I don't know.
You
know more than I do. I mean, you all know more than each other. I'm just telling you what has happened to me, what is the line of what they were all looking for, of what they put together.
Okay, I get that. I understand that, Rachel.
Okay.
I'm in Nottingham,
in my hometown.
Well, just give me a second. I'm in Nottingham in England, okay?
I'm sorry?
He's in Nottingham, England.
Well, we're up there for hockey, so I love Nottingham, It's all good memories.
Well, we're not famous for hockey, but anyway. If you know where I am, you can see me. I challenge you to meet on a spiritual level, through this level, right now.
Honey, I'm too edgy inside. I'm trying to remember everything right now, which is a lot of information, so much information. I appreciate it. I love it, and I would love to be able to do what you can do. I'm looking at the time here, and it's just ticking to where I'm getting more nervous because it's a lot of money. Give money to Miles, and at least he can get something out of this.
But we're on a live phone call, which is quite expensive from France.
Yeah,
so
it
if
is.
we could,
Switzerland is going to absolutely tear me apart because they want me out of here because that's part of the Vatican money. And Macron, no matter what he's doing, he's still keeping me here. He still is king of the roost at the moment because I'm still the bloodline.
Okay, Skype caller, if you could just I'll give you one more question and then we'll get somebody.
I would love to be able to do that, but I can't do that, honey.
No, it's okay, Moss. It's fine.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to defame you, Rachel, but I just don't.
Fine. Everybody has an opinion. It's called choice. That's what life's about, and I appreciate it. It's not hurting me because you don't know how bad that things have gone on. Being thrown in jail for a 2-week car hire after they had Max, to where I got a phone call and they got gold in Poland, to where Obama came back and the Nice shooting, what was going on. I mean, you have no idea. It's been insane.
What? Why are you I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All the love in the world to you, Rachel.
And not only that, with Tavistock, he was on the right strip about that. That was the 7/7 bombing of what was going on, about all that. I saw those guys in the middle of
Rachel, I'm sorry.
I had those guys climbing in my house. I was selling in Chigwell. They were in my house. Okay? I'm telling you.
Okay, Skype caller, do you want to call it a day? Okay. Right, well, he's gone. Well,
yeah, that's
thank
true.
You very
I
much
had
for calling
the 7/7 bombers in my house. The very next day, I was supposed to be on one of those trains. My father had a heart attack. They gave him 2 brain bleeds, and I flew out the next day. I would have been on those trains. I literally flew out to America, and that was 2005. And we have something to do with energy lines of Katrina and what was going on with that too. And my uncles and my cousins were down in New Orleans. This is about directing energy of what they can do, voodoo or whatever. I don't know how to do all that, but, we were just good family to where we have this energy line. When you're born, it's energy. Look, when Prince George was born, it's energy. It's bad weather.
Okay, Rachel, there's another question they really want to know about the bloodline.
Okay, go ahead. About my blood. It's Romanov. It's Black Madonna. It comes from Greek, Sicily, Patti area, and my grandmother came from Naples, and she was a cook on a boat. Something to do with the lost tribe. It's Ethiopian. Maybe it comes from Marconi to the empress that was there with Macedonia. It's a little bit of she was just a cook on a boat, but she got the oldest mother-to-daughter line that way. That was the lost tribe. So that's all the lines put together to maybe what the Germans could do or what Dalai Lama could do. He had the skin of Mary Magdalene for 900 years. It's an energy line. When I was in the hospital, I was delivered by people with tuxedos on, for goodness sake. To when I almost died, and I had like dents in my legs. Do they put something in my legs to where because I almost died too. So that's what people were saying. What did they stick in you? Well, I don't know. I just had I almost died, and they put some fluids into me. So is it starfire? Is there something that they can do in this world? It was the time that I was born. I was born October 12th, 1961, 10 minutes to 12, almost on the 13th. There's a lot to do about all this. I'm not, like I said, I'm just reporting what has happened, what they told me.
What do you mean by when you say you've got the skin of Mary Magdalene and stuff like that? What
the
does
Dalai
that
Lama,
mean?
they had the skin. The monks, the Dominican monks, had the skin for 900 years of Mary Magdalene. So, and I know they were with Gorbachev to where they got some houses over in La Jolla, and they were waving at me and what was going on. This is like Hitler's nephew who was with USA Navy versus, Klaus Barbie, or, Germany versus Russia. This is, Anne versus Charles,
Rachel,
my sister versus me. So it's a whole game.
You've mentioned...
And we're all betted on it, and that's the Federal Reserve.
You've mentioned you've known Max.
I don't know Max. I was looking at his stuff,
okay.
And it was after he died. I get energy of different things to look at certain things, and it just comes to me. It's showing me. It's like everything is being shown to me, and it's how I can just see it, because I know that Dubai got 19 babies, because Stan told me they put 19 babies over there. I mean, he has reign now over in Dubai. I was talking to the Geneva consulate's office, and then the king died, and they were pissed because they got the baby line to where it was supposed to go over through them. And the Saudi king's son is my DNA from what happened in Texas with Cyprus and what was going on of the Paradise Papers. So, and again, it goes up to you have Rothschilds, you have the House of Saud, and you have the Soros, to build up the pyramid, and then everybody to fill it all in, and who controls a lot.
Okay, there's a question about your husband's bloodline. Can you ask that?
I think it comes from Sweden or somewhere in Norway, too, to where I think he's different than my other brother, his brothers, His brother was basically, in my opinion, they went over to Dubai, and then all of a sudden, they came back, and he died. He died here in France somehow.
So are you saying your husband is dead?
No, my husband, my brother-in-law, and then my brother died then, too. My husband, he's very, we met in Texas with football, with, bringing David Beckham over, with Leighton Orient then, and his sister used to cut my kids' hair. We were just, they don't let the bloodline know about the bloodline because I'm the football. So they do everything horrible to me to where it's sort of like I just pick myself up in a happy way and get on with it, It's just who we are, and, pick yourself up, wash yourself off, and, okay, fine, it happened, all right, well done, thanks a lot, piss off, and you just get on with it. It's everybody has, you just, keep your head down and get yourself sorted out, It's just who I was.
There's a question on the chat room. Are you on Skype? No, you're not on Skype. You're on a telephone.
I can't do Skype.
We can't do Skype. Okay, it's just to let the chat room know.
Miles, I can only talk to you. If anybody wants me to say anything more, and believe me, everything I'm saying is true. Everything I'm saying is true. Do I want to come back to England? I tried to come back. I was going through the airport, and they unstamped my passport, and the police came to pick me up at 12 o'clock at night because I am the bloodline, and they want the babies from this, of this bloodline. It's what it's all about, so they can make a war to have super soldiers of somebody that talks so much, I guess, but it's an energy line of protectedness.
Now, I'm just sorry to butt in. There are a number of questions in the chat room that...
You have to understand, my uncles were with Eisenhower. They came over to France. It stopped the war. We got the Nazis back. And we didn't get into the war too late until we got Israel, because that's this part of the game. And then it's this part of the game to go over to China now. So go ahead. And they all knew this. Everybody who plays this game knew this game from Batista to a long time ago. You know, that it's the Holocaust time for the Hispanics, you know. That's why they opened up in Cuba. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a number of people thinking you're Sarah Adams.
You know what? I try to get a hold of people, too, because after you said that, I looked her up, and, you know, I saw her once with Max. I never realized. You know, I was too much listening to him to figure out why me. Why isn't it happening to these people that's happening to me, you know? I mean, I'm old. These kids are young, you know. And that's what was happening out in California. These kids were coming up to me in Los Angeles saying, Rachelle, you're the old bloodline. We're the new bloodline. You know, I'm like, you know, and then they try to hurt my kids, and I just go ballistic, and then it goes to a bit of earthquakes going on. And am I doing that? You know, I'm just like so bottled up with energy. I'm like, you know, you get these kids sorted out. You know, I'm tired of what's happening to my family, accidents and things being taken away. You know, you don't care about suing somebody for billions and trillions. You just keep trying to hold things down one day more. You know, it's insane. It really is. And it's a balance. It's good and bad energy. To where I'm good, but, you know, I just want more people to wake up to try to fix what's going on, of what's happening, and people to do the right things. Go ahead. What is it that you wanted anybody else to ask questions?
Yeah, okay. Somebody saying you are Sarah, voice match. It's your age they'd like you to know about.
I'm 57, so I'm not Sarah. I wish I was that young. No, I wouldn't want to go back to do all this all over again. No way. You know, you have no idea what's happened to my kids. You know.
Well, tell us what's happened, if you wish to.
I don't, because I'll cry.
Okay.
And I really will cry. It's so insane. You look on my Facebook, and you look at the really evil stuff. You know, and I you know, God's protected me in a way to you know, there's a lady called Carolyn Wilcox Kelly. She's directly to the White House in California. Her number is 858-581-2918. I'm going to say it because, you know what? Everything's happened to me. They took my daughter down into the tunnels. They told me Qualcomm was just going to be bought out by China to get over to Delaware, to where my parents are, because they got Guatemalans there and China there. And this is all to make bloodline and to make super soldiers of who is the protected line. Is it my protected line? The DNA.
What are you calling a super soldier? Because there's been a variety of versions.
They can make super soldiers then more robotic, but I'm saying protected line super soldiers. You know.
Explain what that is.
Okay, you can go and shoot out a whole bunch of people. It's like I call Bill Bradford, who's part of with Trump of what's going on, and he's not dead. Serial killers. Look, this guy was killing all these women, but some women died and some women didn't. And the police are going, "Where's this woman? We want to find you." Well, please don't stand up, because somehow they got out of it. You know, I was supposed to be killed in 1979 for the Mona Lisa, for the portrait of this Chinese guy who basically painted every portrait of the White House, and he painted me. Okay, cool. I got a portrait done. You know, I worked really hard for it, and it was $250. I didn't know that when they take pictures of, like Bill Bradford was doing and Son of Sam, they take pictures. That's like the Mona Lisa. Some people die, some people don't. Why did Reagan put all the Cubans in my hometown from Scarface time? You know, now they're shooting out. It's like the worst town. It's the poorest town, where they're shooting everybody out to see which Hispanic survives. You know, then that's a protected line. Then they'll stick that in the Hunger Games and take the blood or whatever, and to find out whose blood's what. And this is real life stuff going on. So it's putting your super soldiers as who's protected. Who has the protected line of God, of Jesus, or whatever? It's an energy line. It's magnetic. And a lot of your viewers will be able to understand this, because your viewers are teaching me, you know, what's going on with the giants and different things going on. Yeah, I believe all that. Yeah, I've had, why are they sending this over to Pakistan, all this bloodline too? What's in the mountains, and all of a sudden we couldn't
I just
find
want to make sure that I've got the correct picture up. I've got a photograph of you in a frame with yourself,
my husband.
with your husband.
And I was young, and that's my favorite picture, because that's the only picture that I have of myself, because I had 4 kids, and I'm definitely, not a Sarah Adams or these beautiful kids. I'm a mom. I'm frumpy, and I'm lovely and wobbly and bits. It's what it is. I just happened to have a line that they all wanted that came to the very end of the fighting bits of what was going on, that I just happened to be the line of what they were looking for, and with what was put together in my hometown. If you look down along those pictures, you'll see all the, with my grandmother, she was
Well, there's a lot of pictures of frame grabs, which I ran on part
a lot
one.
of an old picture one. Those are all the Operation Paperclip that came to Reading, all the Nazis that came over to us that we got, and then they were mixing up all the bloodlines, and my grandfather sitting way in the back with his little head. He was the one that was from Sicily with the Black Madonna line, and he was the oldest brother of his other cousins and stuff that came over to fight in the army in France and stopped the war and did all the food for the France and Versailles. And basically, we got all the Nazis back to my hometown, and Rothschilds knew, because they got Israel before we will bring them over, but we're going to get Israel first. So it was that type of thing.
What's the Israeli connection?
Oh, the Mossad. Well, that was James Rosenfield from Boston that started all that off. But yeah, Silverstein asked me, flat out, nothing like a guy who got 4.5 billion, kill your family, wanted to do all this, saying, people didn't want him to come around me. Again, I didn't know who he was until he started talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's that person, and I've seen him on the, it's the bankers. It's Kremlin versus the bankers, New World Order versus Bolsheviks, and then you kind of fill yourself in where you want to fit into all that. The Bolsheviks are the name of, like, Bolivia, England, of what's going on. I've really got to end this now.
Okay, well...
I'll back next Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll try that.
Okay, I'll talk to you later, sweetheart.
Okay, thank you very much, Rachel.
Get some money out of this, and I'll go back. Bye.
Okay, bless you. Okay. Well, that's it for today. All a bit of a last-minute thing. We'll put me on air. Yeah. Okay, that's it for today. Megawatts 1066 if you want to take part next time. And we'll fade to black. Thank you for participating. A bit hectic. If we had a few other things here, we could get more people in and get more Skypes and things. It's very generous of the caller to call in. She's paying for this call this time, and it's a phone call. Okay, that's it. Cheerio.